The invention of international order tells the story of how the fundamental elements of the international order, now considered to be in crisis, have deep roots in events that took place 200 years ago. That's when the Napoleonic Wars came to an end after decades of continental conflict, and diplomats and statesmen from across Europe, Britain included, decided that diplomacy and multilateral institutions were crucial if Europe was to live in peace. Equally significant, they decided that the politics between states, what we would now call international politics, was a setting in which they could discuss the best forms of politics within states, whether they should have constitutions or not, whether Jews should have rights or not, whether they should act humanely and abolish slavery or not. In the invention of international order, I argue that women and men whose individual lives don't usually make it into histories of the international past, they were central to this story. Even though we have come to think of international politics and diplomacy as properly the domain of men, women in particular were as involved in the creation of these new political norms. In fact, women's informal diplomacy was the model of the diplomatic methods that defined the new international order. But here's the rub. The invention of international order simultaneously involved women and marginalised them. Not only that, but the more that these new methods of diplomacy were wrapped in moral and universal principles, such as humanitarianism, or even peace itself, the more exclusive the international order became. Not only women lost out, but Russia went from leading the demands for a liberal international order to a pariah state. And the Ottoman Empire lost the privileges of European status it once had. So right now, in a world rife with predictions of the end of the international order as we know it, this same history helps us understand what we do know. It reminds us of the importance of reflecting on the extent of international thinking and ordering 200 years ago. Not only what counted as international politics, but who could or wanted to participate, and to what ends. By casting our glances backwards, we not only discover how women and men imagined the possibilities of international politics, we also stand to learn more about their similarity to and difference from the practices and assumptions that still temper the international order today, for better and for worse.